We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. Just got off work. Today was my day off, but I went in. Figured boss man said pretty much that after the holidays, this would be kind of like the last time we can really get overtime for a little bit. Work will start slowing down a little bit, which is fine. So look forward to more podcasts coming out because I'll have 2 days off rather than 1 day off a week, which is cool. It's 7:40 a.m. New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year's if you're listening to this before or after. It doesn't matter. Happy New Year's. 2020 will officially be over. I know a lot of people are grateful for that. I have reached my high score on subscribers, which is 185, which is cool. I think it was 185, which was my high score, or 184, I think was my high score, and then I beat it by one, which is pretty cool. I talked to 2 new subscribers. I'm not going to say their names just because you got to protect people. But when we went and we did a cryptozoological, hunt for the Poplick goat man, we put some flyers out. So we actually had 2 people. I only put 5 flyers out, 4 or 5, and 2 people noticed it and checked me out. So I was like, awesome, because I was curious. That's the first time we really did it, and I've tried to, for the most part, put an original picture for each episode. I color it and draw it and everything as the cover art that plays along with the theme song if you're viewing it on YouTube. And I was telling my wife, I was like, this is kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone. It's the title picture for the podcast, but I could just write on the back flyers to check out the channel, and anytime we go anywhere or travel, because me and her, we do a lot of hiking, we do a lot of ghost hunting, we do cryptozoological hunts every now and then. So I'm like, yeah, dude, we need to start passing out flyers for each place we go to, because we go out of state sometimes, we go all over the place. We're always doing something, So yeah, I'm glad to see that it works, I mean, YouTube with their algorithms and stuff, they're not helping. So sometimes you gotta put your boots on the ground and do some work yourself, Like I said, I'm not going to mention any names, but one of my new followers for this channel suggested a place which, when we went to go to the Poplick, the bridge and stuff to look for Goatman, we actually passed a Tom Sawyer Park, and me and my wife kind of spoke about it for 2 seconds. We'd never heard of it, never been there, and somebody had suggested that, dude, y'all need to go over there. That there's I guess I started looking into it. I'm not going to talk too much about it because that'll be a upcoming episode. but I guess it's something to do with like a cave and something about an old asylum. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will do a podcast episode on it, on what I find while going down the rabbit hole. And me and Sammy we're going to go out and go check it out, man. You know, actually go there and go on foot. So, if you're just a listener on Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, or Radio Public, check out our YouTube channel. It's just simply Abe Williams with a dream catcher as a profile picture, because we do a lot of ghost hunting videos or like cryptozoological stuff or occult item stuff. We do a lot of stuff, that it gives you kind of a face to a voice, and it also gives you, there's a lot of stuff you're missing behind the scenes, But yeah, that's all I got for an opener. Sorry if I was boring you, but we'll get on with the show. Here lately, like I always try to, keep it kind of spread out with different subjects. But here lately, the paranormal has been hitting hard. So I'm gonna do another paranormal episode today that I've planned out for you all, and it kind of connects with the past couple paranormal episodes that I've done. For some reason, it's been hitting hard lately, because it's kind of funny, because when I first started this channel, I did a bunch of paranormal and it didn't really hit hard, but I guess it's the time of the year. I'm not sure, but for some reason right now everyone's into paranormal. They've been hitting hard, so I am going to do another paranormal episode and then next episode, so stay tuned. If paranormal's not your thing, I'll get into a different subject. I've got the next 4 episodes planned out, so it's pretty much backlog stuff right now that we got, which is fine with me that I got the next 4 episodes planned. That's awesome, Normally, I'll sit down and go through my library, because I have like an extensive library upstairs. I mean, it's pretty dope. But I'll go through and try to figure out an episode that I'm going to do like either the day of or the day after, or you know what I mean? Kind of stir around, look around, figure out what I'm going to do it on. I try to switch it up. But y'all have been enjoying the paranormal episode, so I'm going to do a paranormal episode tonight. Well, this morning. And then I'll switch it up. But last couple episodes have been hitting really hard, and we've been talking about Amy Bruni and Adam Berry. We've kind of been getting into their advice and their stories and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie, they're host of a new show called Kindred Spirits. I've not seen it. I'm going in cold feet, and I've done this on a couple other episodes where I've started out the show like I know nothing about these people, I know nothing about their credibility, but I like to do that sometimes because I get to read new stuff about it. I get to learn with the listener. So it's fun for me as much as it's fun for you. But we're going to delve into kind of Amy Bruni and Adam Berry of Kindred Spirits, kind of their story. The Spirit Squad. Paranormal experts and ghost hunting best buds, Amy Bruni and Adam Berry explore haunted locations, hunt down famous ghosts, and manage to capture it all on camera over multiple seasons for the Travel Channel's Kindred Spirits. By the way, they don't pay me or nothing. This is out of my interest. This is just my interest in general. But their friendship and their fascination with the spirit world began years earlier, as told to Gina McIntyre. For some reason, that name sounds familiar. I can't recall. Years before we ever imagined working together on Kindred Spirits, we knew we were two of a kind. It was Sci-Fi's reality competition series, Ghost Hunters Academy that initially brought us together. Ah, so that's where I recognize her from. I recognized her, but I couldn't quite put my finger on him. So they both met during Ghost Hunters Academy, which I've always been a fan of Ghost Hunters, you know. Adam beat out 7 contestants to win a slot on the channel's Ghost Hunters series, on which Amy was a regular. Soon after, we embarked on our own first paranormal investigation as partners, traveling to the Old Stone Fort in upstate New York, a historic haunted place that dates back to the American Revolution. Immediately, we fell into a brother-sister rapport. The show's producers saw that they had a great team for television. Even better, we realized we were professional soulmates and future best friends. Neither of us ever imagined ghost hunting as a full-time career. Even today, it still feels more like a calling, which is cool that they still enjoy it even though it has become a job, you know? I mean, I've been at some places that I bartended for 8 years, and I know that feeling of you love it when you first do it, and then it becomes something you hate, you know? And it's never good that something you go in loving doing, and then 8 years later you're like, I don't like this anymore. I actually despise it, you know? But let's get back. Where the fuck did I go? Okay. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, man. We both started on the paranormal circuit as enthusiastic hobbyists, fitting in investigations as day jobs and social obligations would allow. By those early formative experiences had an impact and helped us realize that coming into these environments with an open mind and a positive attitude was paramount. Once we began visiting haunted places together, we noticed that our styles were in sync. Neither of us were simply out to be frightened in a spooky place. We wanted to truly communicate with the spirits and to gain an understanding of their circumstances. These entities were once human, and both of us believed strongly that they should be treated as such. So that's pretty cool. They're not disrespectful and stuff. That's one thing that I can't stand about ghost hunting shows is I get it that they're there to trigger the ghost, I guess. But some of them are just straight up disrespectful, and it's like, man, I don't know. It's just it feels dirty to me, you know. As we went on more and more investigations together, we noticed that our humane and honest methods yielded exciting results. With the premiere of Kindred Spirits in 2016, we were excited to have an opportunity to showcase our approach to a new audience. Over the course of 4 surprising seasons of the series, we traveled to locations across the country and experienced wildly memorable interactions with an array of entities. In this issue, we recount some of our most exciting adventures. We also break down the basics of ghost hunting from technique to technology and detail what you should before venturing into haunted places. Education and outreach are important to both of us, and we hope to inspire others to approach paranormal investigation with curiosity and compassion. With that in mind, we hope that this will serve as a roadmap to help you forge your own paranormal path. We are excited and grateful to be able to share the benefit of our years out in the field to inspire a new generation of investigators. There's no question our commitment to ghost hunting will endure, and someday, when we're long retired and hanging out together, you can be certain we'll want to swap stories. Let's learn more about the world that lies just beyond our own together. Happy hunting, Amy Bruni and Adam Berry. So that's kind of an introduction into their backstory as paranormal investigators, how they met, kind of their origin story. Now, I do have a couple of accounts in their words that I would like to share with you. Since this episode we're focusing just on them, I'm learning with you as the listener, so this is fun for me, But yeah, the first location is Penhurst Asylum. Places where great tragedies and traumas unfolded often have many reports of paranormal activities. Every fall, Penhurst Asylum in Spring City, Pennsylvania, is transformed into one of the most haunted houses in the country, with visitors waiting in line for hours to walk the corridors of the facility. But the history of the site, once known as Penhurst State School and Hospital, is far more discernible than any seasonal frights the organizers might dream up. The institution, which opened in 1908, was initially set up to care for the feeble-minded and epileptic. But the population quickly grew to include not only the mentally and physically ill, but also orphans, the blind, and children with special needs. Overcrowding became the norm. Few realized, however, the shocking conditions inside Penhurst until 1968, when local reporter Bill Baldini's 5-part documentary titled Suffer the Little Children aired on NBC. The footage showed residents who were emaciated and unclothed, and children, some as 6 months old, tied to beds or kept in metal cages. My crew was mortified, Baldini told NPR in a 2010 interview. I mean, I had trouble keeping them on the job because they were literally getting sick from what they saw. Nevertheless, the facility continued to operate until 1987. It's perhaps unsurprising then, given how many tragedies took place inside the asylum walls, that many ghosts continue to haunt the location to this day. Now, this is Adam Berry and Amy Bruni's account of what they experienced there. In that space in particular, a lot of people were put there who shouldn't have been there. Children were put there who were blind or had ADHD, and the parents didn't know what to do with them. If you're healthy, you should not have been in that kind of place. But they would stay there for decades, and I think it drove them insane. The people that we interact with in that space, some people there just want to scare us because that's what they do. But we still have to preserve and figure out what it is. And that's Adam Berry. This is Amy Bruni. You can't really go into these unhappy locations without having some sort of experience, since they closed under really horrific circumstances. You can feel that when you go there, there's a lot of very helpless, restless spirits. Adam Berry says, they say that on the 3rd floor you can hear what sounds like a dragging sound, somebody dragging their foot. We, of course, are like, let's go check it out. So Amy and I are standing in the really long hallway, and we hear what sounds like step, drag, step, drag. It's literally the sound of someone dragging their foot, and it's getting louder and louder, and it's approaching us from the left down this dark, creepy hallway. We are really speechless at this point, and then it stopped, completely stopped. As soon as that stops, we start hearing what sounds like clawing, scratching, clawing sounds. down this other hallway. Of course, we have to go toward the sound because we need to figure out what it is. It's the most absurd thing in our profession. Go towards the scary demonic scratching sound. So we're walking down this hallway, and with these scratching sounds, and it's getting louder, and we realize it's coming from a room. We open the door to this room, and this thing is still scratching. It literally sounds like it's trying to claw its way out of a wall. I think at this point, we're more afraid that it might be an animal. Animals are terrifying in abandoned places. We've been startled by raccoons, squirrels, mice. We open the door to the closet in the room where the sound is coming from. And nothing is there. And the sound ceases. There's no exit for a creature. No holes in the ceiling or in the corners. We have a thermal imaging camera that we utilize to see into wall spaces just to find warm spots, just in case. We use that to check for an animal and don't see nothing. And really, as terrifying as that situation was with the foot dragging and then this clawing, we were relieved that it was a ghost. Thank God it was not a rabid animal wanting to rip our faces off. Amy Bruni says, locking someone in a closet. I think that was something they did often there, sadly. Adam Berry says, in another building on the site, we also tried just casually walking through and calling out to whoever might be there. One of the giant metal screens that covered these massive windows slammed shut on us. By the way, I will be showing, if you're watching on YouTube, I will be showing kind of like screenshots of Pinhurst. So you can check it out and view it, while it'll play throughout. So the fact that whatever was there could use enough force and energy to slam something to get our attention is powerful. It might have been to scare us. Amy Bruni says, this place is one of these locations where the activity is kind of non-stop. We have heard voices and screams. We have heard footsteps running down the hallway. We have seen shadow figures darting in and out of the rooms. It's also a really creepy place and just kind of sitting there, falling apart. Yeah, I would like to do an episode on shadow figures, definitely. Let me know in the comments if that would be something you all are interested in. Adam Berry says, that's also where Amy dropped her first F-bomb on live television. Amy Bruni says, on live television, that's true. I swear a lot during investigations. Apparently some people don't think that's an appropriate response. They only know what they think would do under those circumstances. Apparently they've never seen I believe it's either Middle Eastern. No, it's Asian. It's Asian. I think it's Chinese. They actually, if you watch Chinese paranormal investigations, they actually cuss a lot. And it's because in their culture, they believe when you cuss, it scares the ghost or demon or evil spirit away pretty much. So it's actually kind of funny because my wife was watching and she's like, why are they cussing so much? And I already knew. And I was like, that's what they believe in their cultural beliefs, their spirituality. They believe that's how you scare ghosts and demons and evil spirits away is by cussing at them. So throughout the entire investigations, they're just cussing up storms. It's quite frankly fucking hilarious, But we have one more. I have one more for you all. It's Plantation Village. It's another Amy Bruni and Adam Berry. Their accounts there on location and what they thought about it and stuff like that. So, Plantation Village. This living history museum in the beautiful town Waipahu on the Hawaiian island of Oahu is proof that a place need not be too old to be haunted. When most people think of a haunted place, the traditional image that likely leaps to mind is an old abandoned house high on a hill, probably somewhere on the East Coast, or maybe across the Atlantic in the United Kingdom, or elsewhere in Europe. It's been deserted for decades in the wake of a tragedy, occupied by malevolent spirits wandering the corridors. Granted, there are plenty of historic properties where ghosts dwell, but as Amy Bruni and Adam Berry have discovered, almost any location can be haunted, even the sun-drenched beaches of Hawaii. That's where the pair traveled to investigate supernatural activity at Plantation Village in Waipahu, a living history museum and botanical garden that offers a glimpse into what life was like on the island's sugar plantations in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The village includes restored buildings and replicas of plantation structures, including housing constructed for the immigrants who worked there. People of Hawaiian, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Korean, Okinawan, Portuguese, and Puerto Rican descent. Such a historical location. It shows how immigrants worked in Hawaii and how they made this village of all these different cultures, Bruni says. They all had their own part of the village, where they all observed their individual ways of life. So it was a melting pot, essentially. Bruni and Barry's first visit to Plantation Village proved to be especially memorable, as it coincided with the tsunami that hit the state in March of 2011. Adam Berry says, the first time we were there was the tsunami, which was really scary for us. We were just about to start our investigation, and the tsunami sirens go off, and our phones start going off. Amy Bruni says, we knew about it, and we were waiting to begin the investigation, because they were monitoring the situation. In the end, though, we just decided to go to work, because we didn't know if it was going to happen or not. We were right on the water on an inlet, which is in the area famous for being really affected by tsunamis. So we had to evacuate. Adam Berry says, I do recall while we were going through the process of deciding, should we leave? Should we stay? Should we go? Where should we go? That the energy in that space definitely changed. We were all heightened and nervous and anxious. Remember, man, spirits, they suck that energy up. But I feel like the spirits knew something was up as well. And plus, Hawaii is such a spiritually sound location that the gods woke up. They were like, here we are, we're here. We moved to higher ground, and then we heard all these rumors, which turned out later to be false. Like Guam, the area was wiped out. I'll never forget, later that morning, watching from the balcony of the hotel as the entire ocean receded completely and then came back in as a wall of water. All of a sudden, the entire bay was empty of water, and you could see the coral. I think sometimes people forget reality can be scarier than actual spirits. Amy Bruni says, we went back a few times after that, first a couple of days after the tsunami and then again last year. Adam Berry says, it's one of the most unique locations because you need to get a translator. While those spirits probably understand some sort of English, a translator is important to make it easier to communicate with them. They answer questions. They manipulate objects. They turn our equipment on and off. They're not necessarily trying to force you out of the space, but if you hit the right buttons with them, you can get more interaction. Amy Bruni says the Portuguese house has a really traumatic story tied to it. The family went out to work, but they had a 4 or 5-year-old daughter. No one was there to watch her, so they chained her and tied her to the bed so she wouldn't leave. And then the house caught on fire and it burned down. That's one of the more haunted structures there. But people have heard a little girl crying in there, and they've even seen a little tiny shadow figure. Adam Berry says, when we went back last year, we had more interaction. Most people talked to us and reached out to us. You have to get them to trust you and talk to you. It'll take some time before optics fly across the room, maybe. Building trust, that's what we do. That's definitely our style of investigation.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.